Have you ever faced a moment where life changed in an instant? Well, on January 2nd, my life took a dramatic turn. While riding my bike, I was struck by an automobile and thrown into a battle for survival. I spent 8 days in intensive care and 23 days in the hospital, enduring severe injuries, 15 broken ribs, a shattered clavicle, 2 punctured lungs, blood clots in both lungs. Along the way, I faced life-threatening complications, nearly dying 3 times in the hospital. Yet the challenges didn't end there. Even after leaving the hospital, setbacks like fluid-filled lungs, 70% filled with blood, heart concerns, and physical limitations continued to test my faith and endurance. But I'm here today to testify that through it all, I witnessed God's faithfulness in ways I had never imagined. His presence carried me through every moment of pain and uncertainty, transforming this journey into a testimony of His grace and healing. In this video, I'll share the details of what happened by some past recorded videos that I did while in the hospital. And that will show how I navigated through these critical moments and also the lessons that God revealed to me. Join me as we explore how even the most overwhelming trials can deepen our understanding of life as God intended and reveal His extraordinary power to restore. Had a serious cycling accident. It's now January 9th, so it's been officially 8 days in the trauma center in Fort Pierce at the Longwood Regional Medical Center. And I'm fortunate to be alive, frankly. They have discovered that my injuries consist of all of my ribs on my left side except for one. So 1 through 11 are broken. I have 12 ribs on the left side. So all 11 ribs on the left side are broken. And 2 through 4 on the right side are broken. So in all 15 broken ribs. On the left side, my left clavicle, sometimes referred to as collarbone, is also broken. I cannot move my left arm or my left side without severe pain. Severe pain. My lungs collapsed. I had both fluid and blood on the lungs. They had to put a tube in my side for a week to drain that and decrease the pressure. And so I've had a lot going on. Not even sure that I'm remembering everything. But as I said, this is now Monday, January 9th. And so I believe it was on Saturday night that my hemoglobin levels dropped drastically, 6.8%. And so I required a blood transfusion. After receiving that transfusion in the middle of the night, I think it was around 3 o'clock Sunday morning,
they discovered that my hemoglobin levels had dropped even lower, which was not good at all. They had dropped to 6.6, dangerously low. So immediately I began a second pint of blood. They tested, and my hemoglobin finally rose to 7.5, which was adequate. When I came into the hospital, my hemoglobin was between 13 and 14. So you could tell it dropped significantly. Now it is Monday morning, January 9th. It's about 1:30, and I'm going to be transferred to a rehab in Compass from Fort Pierce to Vero Beach, where I will have around-the-clock care, which I will require. I appreciate your prayers. This has been what could have been a life-ending event. Only by the grace of God that I'm still here and talking to you. Event my family has stood by me. It brings tears to my eyes to think, as difficult a time as this has been for everyone, my wife and children and grandchildren have rallied around me, and they have been here for me. Several close friends and hundreds of you on social media have made comments and said prayers and are standing with me. So I can't thank you enough from the bottom of my heart. I want to tell you how much I love you and appreciate all that you have done and you are doing for me. As I talk, I'm short of breath. Excuse me again for the grimacing because of the pain. It's hard to sit in a certain position very long because my left side is so damaged. In the emergency room, they put a pipe in on my right side to help drain the blood and the fluid that was building up, but they weren't able to do so on my left side just due to the significance of the trauma and the damage that had occurred on my left side. Severity of bruising on my arm and the right side of my chest, and to think that I have that severe of an injury on the outside of my body only underscores the significant damage that occurred internally. I can just tell you the severity of what I'm dealing with. This is not a quick fix. This is going to take some time, but I'm trusting the Lord both for my physical healing and well-being, as well as, the ministry, Cross Life Ministries, where I counsel. I'm in constant pain. I can't move my left side. It's non-weight bearing. I can move my right arm. I can walk. Getting up out of a chair is excruciatingly painful, and that's because of the lungs. Trying to get out of a bed or into a bed is torturous. The breathing is very painful, and I'm sure that's because of the lung, but the Lord has just been so precious and so near to me, and He's encouraged me to accept and to enter into this time of pain and suffering and look at it as a blessing rather than a cursing, and I've chosen to do so, and as a result, it's just changed the whole dynamic, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity to experience this, because He's the one that's walking me through it. He's the one that's loving me through it. What a whirlwind it has been the last 27 days. Fortunate to be alive, fracturing 15 ribs, breaking my left clavicle, puncturing both lungs,
and then having blood clots on both lungs. I was raced to the trauma center in Fort Pierce at Lawnwood Regional Hospital. I spent 8 days there in ICU, was transferred to Encompass Rehab Hospital in Vero Beach, and on the 8th day was released and notified that my left lung was 40% full of fluid. I was instructed by the doctor that I needed to follow up with another physician, a pulmonologist that could deal with that. I had the runaround for 2 days, and on Thursday evening, after visiting a local pulmonologist, I was informed that my left lung was 60% full of blood and fluid. That evening, with friends and family urging me to do something more immediate, we made the decision to come to Advent Health here in Orlando, which at that point was 70% full of blood and fluid. I was literally drowning. Literally hundreds and hundreds of you on Facebook and YouTube have been praying for me. I'm very grateful. I continue to receive texts and other messages of how God is not finished with me yet. I truly believe that. One of the first things that God revealed to me when I was still in the emergency room in Longwood the day of the crash was that although there was that moment where I thought this might be it and I might be going to see the Lord, and I told him I was ready to go with my family around my side, it was in that emergency room that day that the Lord invited me to embrace the pain, because obviously it was in horrific pain that day. And he said, Don, I don't want you to think of this as a negative. I want you to think of this as an opportunity. And I want you to taste just a little bit, just a tiny bit of what I have done for you on the cross. And I want you to begin to embrace the pain, realizing that through it, you will be able to allow me to do greater things. And so I said, Lord, I welcome it, I receive it. And then I have been learning how, in the midst of pain, to welcome it and to realize it was God's opportunity for me at that moment to experience a deeper intimacy with him.